Welcome to the Deep Dive, the show where we really try to cut through all the noise and just hand you the core insights from some fascinating new research.
And today we're jumping right into something I think a lot of people wonder about, especially with sports like soccer.
Yeah, exactly. How do you actually spot, the real talent, that future superstar?
It's so much more than just how fast someone runs or how hard they kick, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's that spark.
Yeah.
Quick thinking, reading the game, adapting when things get tough.
Making that split-second decision under pressure.
Right. And what's really exciting and what we're diving into today is how technology is actually trying to measure that complex mix.
Yeah, it's trying to move beyond just like the coach's gut feeling or isolated tests. Because real soccer performance is this blend, this dance between the physical, the technical skill, and the cognitive side, how fast you perceive, decide, react.
So this deep dive is all about a pretty groundbreaking piece of tech designed to measure exactly that the technique and the thinking together in real time in a setting that really feels like soccer.
And we've got a great source to unpack this. It's an article from the Journal of Sports Science and Medicine.
That's the one. It's titled Reliability and Utility of the Skills.Lab Arena as a Real-Time Measurement Technology for Soccer Technique and Cognitive Performance. Quite a mouthful, but important stuff.
Definitely. The authors are Michał Dolata, Teresa Zwierko, Łukasz Bojkowski, Brandon Moran, and Robert Śliwowski.
And it was published online just recently, June 1st, 2025. It's in volume 24, pages 277 to 291, if you want to look it up later.
And this research is so important because, well, it tackles a real problem in how we assess athletes.
How so?
Well, think about it. Usually, technical skills, dribbling, shooting, they get measured out on the pitch, right? Maybe some cone drills or whatever.
Familiar stuff.
But the cognitive stuff, reaction time, memory, decision-making speed, that's often tested in a sterile lab, totally separate.
Okay, I see the disconnect.
Right. And those lab tests, while controlled, they often lack what scientists call ecological validity.
Meaning they don't really show how someone performs in a real game.
Exactly. The pressure is different, the environment's different, and the field tests, well, they feel more real, but they often miss measuring those underlying cognitive skills.
So there's been this gap, this need for something that brings both together effectively.
Precisely. And that's where this Skills.Lab arena comes in.
Okay, paint a picture for us. What is this thing?
Well, imagine this huge indoor space, like 320 square meters, on artificial grass. It's basically a high-tech soccer simulator.
Wow, 320 square meters is massive.
It is, and it's packed with tech. You've got ball launchers that can fire balls at different speeds and angles, high-res cameras tracking everything.
Everything, like player movement, ball trajectory.
Yep. And maybe the coolest part 6, huge interactive screens around the player.
Interactive how?
They display dynamic stuff, moving targets, simulated opponents, tactical situations appearing and disappearing. It forces the player to react not just physically, but mentally.
So it's assessing motor skills, technical execution, and cognitive processing all at once in a soccer context.
That's the goal, to bridge that gap we were talking about.
Makes sense. So what was the specific mission of this particular study then? The one by Dolata and the team?
Their core objective was critical to test the reliability and the usefulness of the Skills.Lab arena.
Reliability meaning? Consistency.
Exactly. If you test a player today, and then again next week, does the arena give you basically the same results, assuming the player hasn't changed? It's like checking if your measuring tape is accurate.
Gotcha. You need to trust the tool before you can really use it.
Absolutely. Reliability is the foundation. You have to establish that first before you can confidently say, okay, this is a good tool for evaluating players or tracking development.
All right, so let's dig into the study itself. Who are the players they tested?
They worked with 31 elite youth male soccer players. These weren't beginners. They were aged 13 to 14, average about 13 and a half.
Okay, so right in that key development phase.
And crucially, they all had at least 3 years of competitive experience, trained 4 times a week, played matches on weekends. So a really relevant group for testing something like this.
Dedicated young players. And the setup inside the arena for the study. You mentioned the ball machines and cameras.
Yeah, so 4 ball machines capable of firing balls up to 130 kilometers per hour. That's pretty fast.
Wow, yeah.
6 cameras tracking movement precisely. And those big screens totaling 60 square meters showing all the dynamic stimuli. It's a very controlled yet game-like environment.
So how did they actually test the reliability? What was the process?
They used a standard scientific approach called a test-retest design.
Yep.
The players came in and did the full set of tests on 3 different days, spread out over a month, first session, then another 7 days later, then a final one a month after the first.
So they could compare results across time.
Exactly. See how consistent the scores were. And importantly, each session started with a standardized 15-minute warm-up.
Standardized, so everyone did the same thing.
Right. And before the actual test started, the players did a short 3-minute adaptation trial. Just a couple of simple ball exercises using the system.
Why was that important?
It was smart design to minimize any immediate learning effect. You know, just getting used to the novelty of the environment so that wasn't skewing the actual test results later.
Ah, okay. So they're measuring skill, not just how quickly someone adapts to the fancy tech on day one.
Precisely. The whole assessment took about 35 minutes per player, which is actually pretty efficient.
Okay, makes sense. Now, the tests themselves, you said 10 different tasks. What were they actually asking the players to do? This sounds like the really interesting part.
It really is, because they weren't just, kicking against a wall. Each test combined a soccer technique with a cognitive challenge.
Give us an example. What's one that really shows that blend?
Okay, well, take the ground pass to moving target test. Players receive a ball from a machine, then have to pass it accurately to a target moving across one of the big screens, simulating a teammate making a run.
Okay, so that needs good passing technique.
But also anticipation, timing the pass, dynamic decision-making, which foot to use, when to release the ball based on the target's movement. It's like playing a through ball.
Right, that feels very game relevant. But with that added cognitive layer of the screen target, what about something even more mentally demanding?
For that, the cognitive passing to the overload test is a great example. This one really pushes higher-level thinking.
How so?
Players are moving with the ball, and scenarios pop up on the screens showing, say, a 3-on-2 or a 2-on-1 situation, a numerical advantage.
Like a quick tactical snapshot.
Exactly. And the player has to rapidly perceive that advantage, process it that involves working memory, situational awareness, and then make the right tactical decision and execute a pass into that overload zone, all while on the move.
Wow, that's way beyond just technique. That's reading the game, making decisions under pressure.
That's the whole idea, integrating the thinking part directly into the physical action. There were others, too, focusing on things like first touch under pressure, shooting accuracy at suddenly appearing targets, agility with and without the ball reacting to light cues. A whole range.
A comprehensive battery of tests, it sounds like.
Yeah.
So after putting these elite young players through this demanding setup multiple times, what were the main findings? Did the Skills.Lab arena live up to its promise?
Well, the results were, frankly, very positive, especially on the reliability front.
It was consistent.
Very much so. Across all 10 tests, they found good to excellent consistency between the test sessions.
How do they measure that consistency specifically?
They used a statistical measure called the Intra-Class Correlation Coefficient, ICC. You don't need to worry about the math, but basically higher values mean better agreement between measurements.
When the values were high here.
Yes. For the time-based tasks, like how fast they completed something, the ICCs were between 0.75 and 0.89, which is considered good to excellent. For accuracy tasks, like hitting targets, they were also strong, ranging from 0.71 to 0.91.
And how does that compare to, say, traditional soccer skill tests?
Often comparable or even better, according to the authors. It suggests the arena provides really stable, trustworthy scores. They also looked at something called the coefficient of variation, the CV. This tells you about the spread or variability in the scores.
Less spread is better, right? More precision.
Generally, yes. And for the time-based tasks, the CVs were really low, like 1.8% to 4.5%. Super precise.
I heard little noise in the measurement.
Exactly. For the accuracy tasks, the CVs were higher between about 8% and almost 20%.
That sounds like a lot more variation. Is that a problem?
No. Actually, the researchers explain that's kind of expected for complex technical skills in soccer. Hitting a specific target accurately involves more inherent variability, especially in developing players. Think about trying to hit a small, sometimes moving target. There's just naturally going to be more variation than just measuring speed. They argued these levels were acceptable for these types of skills.
Okay, so consistency is good. But can it actually detect real improvement? If a player trains and gets better, will the test show it?
That's the usefulness question, and the answer was yes. They looked at whether the smallest worthwhile change, the minimum improvement considered truly meaningful for a player, was bigger than the test's typical error or measurement noise.
And it was.
For all 10 tests, yes. This means the arena is sensitive enough to pick up on genuine improvements that matter for development, not just random day-to-day fluctuations. That's huge for coaches.
Yeah, you can actually see if your training is making a difference.
Exactly. It helps validate training programs and track player progress objectively.
What about that learning effect you mentioned earlier? Did players just get better because they kept doing the tests?
Mostly, no, which is great news for using it repeatedly. Across most tasks, there weren't significant improvements just from repeating the tests between sessions.
So the scores reflect skill, not just practice on the test itself.
Largely, yes. The only real exception was one of the agility tests with the ball. Players did get a bit faster on that one from the first session to the third.
Any idea why?
The authors suggest it might just be adapting to the specific dynamic demands of dribbling quickly while reacting to the changing environment in that particular test. But for the vast majority, the tests seemed robust against major practice effects.
Okay, so overall, it sounds like this study really validated the Skills.Lab arena as a reliable and useful tool. What's the bigger picture here? How could this change things in soccer?
Well, it offers a way to get objective, data-driven insights into those complex motor cognitive skills that are so hard to quantify, but so critical for success.
Moving beyond the eye test, like you said.
Right. It could really enhance talent identification spotting players with not just physical gifts, but also that crucial processing speed and decision-making ability.
And player development, too, I imagine.
Absolutely. You can create detailed player profiles, pinpoint specific weaknesses that combine technical and cognitive aspects, and then track if targeted training is actually improving those integrated skills. It makes evaluating training interventions much more precise.
It really does sound like a potential game changer. But no study is perfect. Did the authors mention any limitations we should keep in mind?
Yes, they were quite clear about them, which is good scientific practice.
What were they?
First, the sample size, 31 players. While enough for their statistical analyses, it's still a specific group of 13, 14-year-old elite males. Generalizing to all young players or different age groups or skill levels needs more research. Different age groups actually use different test batteries in the system.
Makes sense. What else?
Second, while it measures the combination of motor and cognitive performance, the tests don't necessarily isolate specific cognitive functions. Like, is it working memory or anticipation or processing speed that's driving performance on a particular task?
It's measuring the integrated outcome.
Exactly, which, as they point out, is actually very similar to a real game situation where all these things work together anyway. But it's something to be aware of if you wanted to target, say, just working memory.
And the environment. It sounds immersive, but it's still not a real match.
That's the third point. It's a controlled lab setting. It ensures repeatability, which is vital for reliability testing. But it obviously lacks factors like crowd noise, weather, the physical presence, and unpredictability of real opponents and teammates.
Yeah, the full chaos of a match.
Right. And the final, really crucial point they make is about validation.
Okay, you mentioned reliability, consistency. What's validation then?
Validation is the next big step. It's about proving that performance inside the skills. Lab Arena actually predicts success outside in real games.
Ah, the link to on-field performance.
Exactly. Do players who score higher on these tests actually perform better in matches? Do they make better decisions, have higher pass completion rates, score more goals, get selected for higher levels? That link needs to be established through further research connecting arena scores to real-world match data.
So reliability is step one, proving the tool measures consistently. Validation is step two, proving it measures something that actually matters for real soccer success.
You've got it. This study nailed step one for this age group. Step two is the exciting next phase.
Okay, so let's bring it all back home then. The main takeaway from this deep dive.
The Skills.Lab Arena, based on this research with elite U14 players, looks to be a genuinely reliable and useful tool. It offers a robust way to measure that crucial blend of technical skill and cognitive ability in a soccer-specific context.
It's a significant move towards more objective, data-driven assessment in sports.
Definitely a big step forward in sports diagnostics.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? Imagine a future where a young player's potential isn't just sort of guessed at based on observations, but is precisely measured, tracked, and then developed using tools like this.
Yeah, how could that kind of data-driven insight change the path for every single aspiring athlete, right from the grassroots level up to the professional game?
It's a pretty powerful thought.
And if this has sparked your interest, we really do encourage you to check out the full research article yourself.
Yeah, dive into the details, the specific stats, the full methodology. Again, it's in the Journal of Sports Science and Medicine, Volume 24, pages 277 to 291.
Yeah.
The title was Reliability and Utility of the Skills.Lab Arena.
You'll find all the depth there.
And of course, to catch more deep dives like this one, where we unpack fascinating research and give you those shortcuts to being well-informed, make sure you follow the deep dive wherever you listen.
And turn on those notifications so you don't miss out.
We'll be back